Hello, 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 Stamping Friends. How is everybody doing today? Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining me, guys. Welcome and come on into the craft room. I am Caron Bailey, your ATX late night stamper, and I am coming to you this evening. It is Friday, October 10th, 2025, and I'm coming to you with a little bit of casing the catalog. Y'all, I forgot my catalog. How do I do that, right? I don't know, but I forgot my catalog. But we are casing the catalog. The September to December mini catalog is what we are creating from this evening. And we are going to be featuring the Woodland scenery stamp set. Guys, this is a cute little stamp set. Just images, no sentiment. So we're going to try to pull some sentiments today from, let's see, I think I pulled out some Peaceful Days. I pulled out Wishing You Joy, and I pulled out Peace on Earth. Now, these are from all of them are from the September to December 2025 mini catalog. So, if you pop on back into the description box, I'm going to put pages to where you can find all of the products that I'm using, the stamp sets, so that you'll know what page to go to try to find them on. These are not the new Stampin' Up cases. These are the sleeves that I used to buy. I used to put all of my products in, and as you can see, these held everything. The stamps, the die, and the embossing folder. I like to keep suites together when I can. That way I don't misplace anything. But that's not the point today. Guys, before we get cracking, I would be very remiss if I did not tell you about a couple of promotions that Stampin' Up has got going on and get you ready for what's happening. So give me just a second. Let me switch on over to the promotions, and I'll share with you what we've got going on. The first thing that I would love to share with you is we are, for the month of October, Stampin' Up has got this amazing promotion running where you can join and become a Stampin' Up demonstrator. And there's two options. The first option is to become a demonstrator, and you join for only $35, and you get $125 worth of product. Guys, you choose what those products are that you get. You choose them. Stampin' Up doesn't tell you get to pick this, that, or the other. You get to pick the $125 worth of products that you want. You get free shipping. You get business materials like order forms, some catalogs, all of that you get, and you get to choose from the upcoming release for the November online exclusive. How amazing is that? The other option that you have to become a Stampin' Up demonstrator, if you want a whole lot more, well, then you have the option of joining for $99 and getting $189 worth of products. You guys, that is double. Actually, it's a little bit more than double, right? Nope, not double. It's a little less than double the amount of products that you're getting when you become a Stampin' Up demonstrator. And I would love for you to join my team, you guys. I would love it. I would love to build this community, my own personal team community, that will augment the Stampin' Up community, that we can do things together and we can all grow together. And you guys, my goal for 2026 is to go on that Costa Rica trip. I think it's Costa Rica. Yes, Costa Rica is where we're going. I would love to take you with me on that trip. So if you are interested and you see any products that you love to use this evening, and it's $35 or more, you guys, get the kit. Join Stampin' Up. Don't spend if you're gonna spend $35 anyway, spend it and get $125 worth of products. I'm just saying, that's good business to me. All right, the other thing that we got going on is the Traditions of Christmas class. It's coming up in October on the 23rd at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. That would be 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I will probably more than likely be at work at this time. So I am going to be doing an evening Zoom so that we can go ahead and watch the replay as a craft together. It is free if you make a purchase. If you either purchase the class or you register for the class through my website, it's free for you if you do that or purchase any part of the suite collection. If you don't, there's going to be a minimal $5 charge to come in and join the Traditions of Christmas. All right. On that note, we are going to go get started. And I want to share with you something else before we really get popping here, okay? So, one of the things, so we're casing the catalogs, and these are the images from the catalogs. They're not printed in color or anything. But the thing is, Stampin' Up! Does not, in the images, give you the measurements. You got to figure that stuff out yourself, right? And so, I have been wanting to do this for the longest time. I don't know if I'm going to keep them here or not. But what I ended up doing is I normally make A2 cards, right? And so I ended up using 5 different colors, creating a set of size templates from in 1/8 increments, right? I'm only going to take out a few of them. That way I don't mess it all up, right? So the first piece is my card base, right? My card base is A2, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I always have that as my guide, right? So then I went down 1/8 of an inch, and then my next layer would be a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inch, and then it went down again another 1/8 of an inch, and so on and so forth. Guys, I even made a 1/2 inch strip. So when I'm looking at my sentiments, I can see what will fit, right? So, and I thought, okay, I'd seen it before, I'd meant to do it, and then it was just like, I don't know. But how does this come in handy? Well, I'll tell you. So when Stampin' Up! Gives you an image, or anybody, when you see a layout, or even if you're wanting to create or design your own templates, right? I said, based upon how I create cards, I don't ever do my designer series paper I don't like to do it that way to cover my entire card base. So what I generally will do, I said to myself, okay, so my card stock or my designer series paper is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. So what size is this piece going to be? Well, I kind of estimated 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, right? Let's put these back in here. And I know that was another brown piece, right? Because no, that's what we ended up being, right? So I said, let's try a 3 1/2 by 4 3/4 piece. I gotta find my 3 1/2 now. Hold on. Seems I just kind of jumped them in here. That's 3 3/8. Okay, so I said, let me see what the 3 1/2 by 4 3/4 looks like. And I said, okay, it looks the same, but this seems like I have a little bit of a bigger border around the edges. So guys, using these templates, I decided that what I was gonna use was 3 3/8, by 4 5/8 as my measurements. So that's how these will definitely come in handy to help me design and kind of walk my way through making these cards. All right, so I'm going to end up putting these back in order, but not right now. Okay, so let me make sure I seal this up. So if you have time, this took me about maybe, I would say maybe 20-30 minutes to cut all of these in 1/8 inch increments. I think the other thing that I'm getting ready to do is probably do some squares, starting with a 4x4 square, maybe a 4 1/4, not so much, maybe a 4x4 squares, and kind of whittle that down so I have rectangles, and then I'll have a square set. All right, let's put this away. So now we can go ahead and get started. My goal this evening, you guys, is to create 4 cards with you, featuring the Woodland scenery stamp set. All right. So I have put all of this, I put everything already in my envelopes. So it should just be easy. We're just going to spend the time doing the stamping. And let's get started. Oh, I didn't figure out what my card base was going to be for this one, but that's okay. If you've got your catalog handy, just pull that out and craft with me. So the colors I used are, I'm using the Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper. This is what I saw as the card base, the Designer Series paper, and I'm using some Very Vanilla as my my focal image portion. Okay, this 2-inch piece I'm probably going to use to decorate my envelope, which is kind of why I kind of left that one there. So let's go ahead and get started. How's everybody's day? How was everybody's day today? I worked from home today, so that was pretty cool. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my sentiment now, or my, we may end up trimming it down a little bit. So we'll just take a look and see what's going on. And I'm definitely going to have a little bit of a play with this, right? So I think I'm going to keep this maybe in the brown family. I'm feeling brown here. I don't know why. I don't want to go black, so I think I'm just going to stick with browns today. So let me grab my, let's grab some early espresso. And let's get to work. These are all some of the blocks that come in the paper pumpkin or the exclusive kits. So, all right. So I'm gonna stamp. Let's condition this stamp just a little bit. I always forget my scrap paper. What's going on with my early espresso? Okay, I might need to ink up my early espresso, y'all. But I won't do that tonight. Okay. I'm gonna have to grab my. Let's just work with it. I think it's pretty clear. All right. So I'm gonna put the image a little bit off center. Okay, just a little bit off center. Hold on. Here's what I need to do. And I need to do this because my eye is never straight, right? So what I'm going to do is give myself a little bit of a baseline. If I can find my pencil. There it is. All right. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of a horizon line so I can see, and I'm not going to make a pretty dark line. I just want it to be able to see where that's going to go, okay? So now that I know that that's where my center point is, there we go. Let's go ahead and stamp that. I'm not happy with my early espresso ink, y'all. It's really gonna drive me bonkers. It is gonna drive me nuts. But there's always two sides to every piece of cardstock, so we're gonna flip this over. And I'm gonna go back to the drawing board until I re-ink my early espresso. Hold a second. All right. Here we go. Let's start this again. Give ourselves a little bit of a what do you call that, horizon line. And again, that's just for me to make sure that I'm not going to stamp uphill like how I write sometimes. Okay. I can see that it didn't ink well. There we go. Much better. Much better. All right, so here we go. Our log cabin is down. See how that's different, how much different that is when it's inked. I've got to go ink up my my stamp, my ink pad. I got a busy day tomorrow. Oh my gosh. So my day tomorrow is starting with a walk. The slowest shell walkers. We're going to head out tomorrow. About 7:30. We're going to try to get our miles on. We generally, when we get together, we walk about maybe, we try to put in there at minimum 3 miles, but generally anywhere between 4 and 6 miles is what we walk when we get together. So we're going to knock that out first thing in the morning. Then I've got a meeting tomorrow at noon, so I have plenty of time. Then I need my 3 trees. And then, what else we have after that? Now I'm going to go back to using the early espresso. It's perfect that the ink pad is not as dark, and it's a little light, because I don't want the tree to be so dark in contrast. I want to have a little bit of contrast with it. So that is going to be by design. And I'm going to set it back just a little bit because I want for it to look as if it's behind the house. So we're using the shading to give the appearance that it's set back a little bit, okay? All right, that one's done. And we're going to do the same thing with the other tree. This is the first time I'm using this one, and you guys, all this is doing is helping me to get my Christmas cards ready. Ready for the holidays. Someone just joined me. Thank you for joining. Whoever joined me to watch, I appreciate it. Please let me know who you are, where you're watching from. I would appreciate that. All right, and we're going to put this one the same, maybe down a little bit more. Right there. And then I would do a double tree, but I'm not going to. All right, so we've got that. We've got that. We need to put the smokestack. Here's our smokestack. Think let's keep the smokestack in the same shade as our house, our log cabin. Okay. And then we need the deer. I think we're going to use just about all of the images on this first one, which is cool. Don't you think? I want my deer to be dark. So we're going to stamp him in that. And I'm going to kind of line them up in between the trees, also on the front. There we go. Look at him. Isn't that pretty? All right, almost done with the stamping. And then last, well, we're going to build our sled. I think that's this guy right here. Going to do our sled in black. I'm going to do them in black because I want to show the difference. With the logs, when we put the logs down. All right, so pretty much that is all the image looks like from the catalog. However, I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending to kind of get my sky softened, to soften that. And I'm going to heat set everywhere that I stamped with Versamark. Or the Versa Fine ink. It'll also give it a little bit of texture as well. Some texture, a little bit of shine. So after my meeting, there's another quick event. I mean, tomorrow has so many things happening, and I really can't attend all of it, right? So I have to pick and choose. So let's see, what else is happening tomorrow? Ooh, I meant to call and cancel that appointment. That's what I get. I'm going to see if I can go in earlier and get it done. So I'm just going to chase the powder. That's how I'm going to know when it's completely dry. When the powder all the white from the powder burns off or melts off and it looks completely back to the original color, that's when you'll know it's completely been embossed. All right, so there we have that. Now, let's go ahead with our little pencil here and erase these lines. Now that's why we didn't draw the line so dark, because we have to remove it from our image, right? Perfect. Now I'm gonna grab. I want to give it a little bit of a sky. It's winter time, so I'm probably gonna use. Let's see what our cloud cover does for us as far as shades of blue. Sorry, I just had to sneak a drink. All right, what is our cloud cover gonna do for us today? I don't know why I didn't plan on ink blending. I always do some sort, so that's my little spray bottle with alcohol. And alcohol dries pretty quickly, so all I'm doing is just taking that to clean my brush just a little bit. And because it dries so fast, the brush is ready to go right away. So let's take a look and see what this is going to look like, this cloud cover. Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. I don't know, there was some brown. Oh, there's brown in there somewhere. Awesome. Okay. So all I'm going to do is just put down a little bit of color from a sky. Something's going on with this. And break that up just a little bit. we've got that. Now this was a piece that I can't remember. This was 3 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. I hadn't planned on matting it, but I think I have to mat this. Mm. 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. Let's just go ahead and put it down the way it was designed, okay? I can't help myself with the dimensionals and things of that nature, right? Did everybody have a good day today? So Monday is, well, I don't even know what they're calling it anymore. We used to call it Columbus Day, but I think it's Indigenous Peoples Day, or I don't know what they call it, but it's a holiday. Unfortunately, not for me. It is not one of those that's observed by the city, so, or by the state, so I gotta go to work on Monday. Which isn't a bad thing. Of course not. And we're going to put this right here. I'm using one of these lines as my guide. Put that right there, like that. And then I see misty moonlight in there, don't I? Oh, look at that. That's pretty. There is misty moonlight in that. So our designer series paper was 4 by 5 1/4. I'm deciding to mat it. It's not matted in the catalog. So when you case a project, you can case all of it. You can case some of it. You can case the designs. You can case the colors. This is going to be, am I going to get 4 by 5 1/4? Yes, it's going to be very tight. So I need this to be 4 1/8. Get that matted. And that is pretty with that misty moonlight in there. I love that. Huh. I love it when I make a design plan, a decision, and it's gorgeous. If I do say so myself. So I've got to go to work. Oh. And first, let me acknowledge my, I used to be a federal employee, and I'm no longer. Of course, I retired from the federal system. So for my former brothers and sisters in arms, I commiserate with you on, you know, this whole government shutdown business. I wish those types of things didn't have to happen, and you know, people that are supposed to know better did better. Anyway, so we've got this done. I'm gonna put this on I was gonna put it on a basic white card base, but I think I'm going to put this on Very Vanilla, and I don't have a piece out right now, so I'm going to hold off on that. But I'm going to go ahead and this is about a 2-inch piece. I normally put my, well, let's just still do it that way, right? I know how hard it is. And some might be saying, you know, yeah, it's just you just get a vacation, but you know, even when the shutdown goes back in, or you know, the government opens back, there is no guarantee that they're going to back pay you. So, you know, you still have bills to pay. People still have bills to pay. So, I do commiserate. And I empathize. Alright, so this will be our envelope. I'm going to cut a piece of Very Vanilla when this is finished, and I'm going to put that on a Very Vanilla card base. So that's card number 1. Let's take a look and see what we're going to do for card number 2. This one's going to be another easy one. And I did change up the colors from what's in the catalog. I do like to change things. This is the designer series paper from the Delicate Pines that I'm going to use. I'm also going to use a little bit more Misty Moonlight. And this is the project we're going to work on. Okay. Now, again, I don't generally like to. My personal aesthetic is that I always like to layer. So I didn't put this directly on the card base. So I cut a piece, which is the garden green. This is my 4 by 5 1/4 piece. I did not cut one that goes across on the 5 1/2. I just wanted to do a little different. Okay. And again, that is the thing about when you're casing. You can case exactly. You can case some of the things, all of the things, one of the things. You know, and you can use it for inspiration. There it is. I was looking for my T ruler. I use a T ruler because, again, I need every advantage that I could possibly have in terms of trying to make sure things are straight. That's perfect right there. Okay? So that's why I use a T ruler. I'm gonna sneeze again. Excuse me. So the T ruler and the liquid glue are my friends. For without them, I would be going up a lot of hills. Alright, so the other thing, if you wanted to step this up just a little bit, you could run this piece through an embossing machine. or an embossing folder of your choice. That will step it up a little bit, give you a little bit of texture in the back. You can also grab, let's see if there's an image in here that I want to use. Oh yes, how about we use, oh, I didn't put a sentiment on that one. You see how I forgot already? Okay, so these look like little snowflakes here. So I'm gonna grab these out real quick. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of snowflakes. I wonder if I had a bigger one somewhere. In any one of the sets that I'm using? These might be bigger than that. Let's take a look. I'm so glad you guys have joined me in the craft room, guys. It's just giving me an opportunity to play. Yeah, those are not that much bigger. Not that much. They're bigger, but they're not that much bigger. All right, let me grab my garden green and try to make this. Oh, I know. What did I do with my garden green? That's what happens when I don't put things back where they belong. Alright, so if you wanted to, I'm going to bypass that step, right? You could just stamp some texture around, something to add just a little bit of interest and break up some of the green that you have, okay? I wish I had some bigger snowflakes in some of the stamps that I picked up for tonight, but I don't. Okay. And I wanted to do tone on tone. Just a little bit of interest. And I'm randomly just stamping them. Now if I wanted to, I could go in with the clear embossing powder. Over them, and then give them a little bit of a shine. Almost done. And this is just another little bit of a design element that I just thought about while I was just doing this, right? So this is not part of any of the design that's in the catalog, but I just wanted to give this a little bit of interest, to say the least. So that's all we did. We just added a little bit of interest in the back. Okay. I'm wanting to do a little bit more, so I'm gonna let that dry, and now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stamp our images. Okay, so we know we're gonna need our tree and we're gonna need our bear. And I'm gonna do a little bit of something different with my bear, or my tree. So I'm going to add a couple of trees. I'm going to go off a little bit. Let's do this. How about I do this one right here? But I'm going to stamp off a little bit of second generation, so those trees are in the back. Okay. Again, that's just a design aesthetic, something that I just liked, right? And then the image shows us that we have a bear. We're going to stamp our little bear. And I think I'm going to make him a brown bear, though. I don't want him to be a, well, let's go black. Let's make him a black bear. I think black bears are the mean one. I mean, I think they're bears, right? I mean, seriously, they're bears. But I believe I understand that in the pecking order of things, black bears are a little bit more dangerous. Is that correct? Than the brown bears. Or did I get that wrong? Does anybody know? Okay. And then we've got our little snowflakes. That's alcohol. I don't want to clean my stamp with alcohol. Just water. And then let's grab those snowflakes back out. And then we're going to stamp our snowflakes in Misty Moonlight. Well, we got cloud cover out, so we're going to go with the cloud cover. That's how I stamp sometimes. Yes. Just adding a little bit of interest. Here we go. And guys, that's it. No more stamping in here. Now it's time to put this card together. All right. We're going to mat our artwork on a piece of Misty Moonlight. Get that on here. Where that sticks, it's not in there, right? There we go. Perfect. Okay. Then we're going to put our image right so. think we've got about a good 3/4 of an inch to an inch. So let's do that. And then the last would be our sentiment. And let's see what we've got to choose from here. Sending you cheer. May your Christmas be bright. Okay, I'm not really liking any of these sentiments. So for this project, I like the sentiments just fine. I just don't like them for this project. I'm gonna find me a season's greetings, just like that one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put this on a card base. Misty Moonlight. I'm gonna score at 4 1/4. While we're here, we're gonna fold it over. And our card number 2 is complete minus our sentiment. Okay, let's go ahead and affix that. So what did y'all do for World Card Making Day? Did y'all do anything for World Card Making Day? Alright, that's on there perfectly. Okay. So our second card is finished. Where did I put the envelope? There we go. I still got to put a sentiment on it, but I'm not quite sure what sentiment yet. So I will post the final pictures with the sentiments, everything, in the Facebook group in the event, so you can take a look at what the final finished product looks like. If you would like to get these cards or these kits to create these cards, I will have kits available. Actually, kits will be sent to you with a free with a $50 purchase in my online store. So with a $50 purchase in my online store. Okay. All right. So this is a sketch that I created long before I knew what I was doing. So let's go ahead and we're going to stick with the products that we have, and see what we got going on here. Okay. You know, when I saw this side of this designer series paper, I was like, what am I going to do with this? But as you can see, we're using it, right? So I'm going to layer this, but I'm just going to layer this. And this piece is a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of designer series paper, and it is matted with a piece that is 1/8 of an inch bigger. So it'll be matted with 4 by 5 1/4. I'm sorry, it's matted with a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8" piece of cardstock. And in this case, I'm using basic white. I don't know why I can't, I'm having such a hard time today aligning things. And I don't know why. Okay, so I've got that one. And then I'm matting my pieces on this one. I think I went back. This is a piece of cinnamon cider. This is no longer available, but I had it and I thought the color worked very well with the scheme that we got going on. So my colors are with this is cinnamon cider and Cajun craze. And in my sketch, I have a piece of, piece of ribbon that's going around here. I had to figure that out. Hold on. Oh, I know what I'm going to use. This is copper clay. So I'm just going to use a piece of that. Put a little piece of tape right there. Put a little piece of tape right here. I've come to the conclusion that a creative mind is not necessarily a neat mind. At least mine's not. It's not at all. Okay, let's burnish that in there. All right, and so now I'm just going to run a piece of ribbon. This is what I do to avoid actually making bows, y'all. Make full bows. They really do literally just confound me. If I'm gonna make bows, like, I do break out my bow maker. That's the only way I'm gonna get a decent bow made. If it's not a faux bow. It is the only way I'm gonna get one made. All right. Then I'm gonna put another piece of this tape down. Just a little piece. We're just going to lay our bow down. Okay. Okay. And then this is going to go right on here. Just like so. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to design a little scene here. Something simple. Kind of along the lines of what we've done previously. Bring my house back in. I might change up the colors a little bit. We've got Cajun Craze going on, and oh, and Wild Wheat. Those are retired colors, but I'm going to bring in my Wild Wheat. Oh yeah, I want to play up on that Wild Wheat a little bit. So everything on this card will be the Wild Wheat color. Wild wheat. The trees are going to be wild wheat. We're going to have like 2 trees on each side, right? Just a hint of a 3rd tree. I love it. I love it already. And then I want a deer. So I'm going to have me a deer. I might have 2. I don't know. And then we're just going to adhere this guy in place. And then we're going to start to build on our card base. Again, sentiments I'm not sure of today. I know I have several options, but nothing that I've pulled is working for me with my aesthetic, what I'm thinking of today. So I am going to have to, I'm going to add my sentiments a little bit later. I'm just going to build a card. Alright, so we can go ahead and get building. So we're just going to use regular adhesive on this part. For me, it's liquid glue. You can use whatever adhesive you prefer. I'm going to adhere to the base or to the front panel. Like that. Then we're going to add some dimensionals on this part. I had my pen somewhere. There it is. Dimensional down our foam adhesive strips. Logged on. All right, and then we're gonna pop this guy right on. Just use our plaid as a guide. Sure before I lay it down, and then we're just going to go ahead and adhere this to our Cajun Craze card base. I'm really liking how these are turning out. I mean, it was just a simple, such a simple little stamp set, you know, that it was like, what are we gonna do with that? And there's just, it's just so much versatility with it. Then we're gonna add this, and you can use so many different colors. You could go greens, because you know there are log cabins that are, you know, that are in the summertime, or you can make your trees with different colors. It's all about how you do it. I gotta figure out how to place a, I might have time to do it. Go to the post office tomorrow. I got a package that came back, which seems to be happening a lot lately. Okay. Alright, guys, card number 3 is done. Except for our sentiment, and we knew that, right? So we've got 3 cards of the 4 that we said we were going to make today. I'm just cooking with gas. All right. Oh, we have our envelope. Let's do our envelope. Oh, I'm not going to do the envelope. I just had another thought. So let me just table that one for a second. All right, and so the last card that we're going to create for you guys tonight is I saw it. Oops, what's that? I put the wet towel on there. So we've got a piece of designer series paper. This is 3 3/4 by 5 that we're going to mat on a piece of basic white. That's 1/8 of an inch bigger. I used to do everything and most things in 1/4 inches. Now when I mat, I just do about 1/8 of an inch bigger. I don't know, I just like somehow or the other my design aesthetic just changed a little bit. I used to like to be able to just do the 1/4 inch borders, but now I just prefer to mat with 1/8 of an inch bigger. How do you mat? If you do a lot of matting, do you do a 1/4 inch mat or do you do a 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch? What size mats do you normally work with? Leave a comment and you can be entered into a drawing to win a prize tonight. Okay, so we've got that, and then we're just going to stamp another scene right here. And we're going to stamp in, did I put it away already? There's my deer. But I'm going to stamp in Misty Moonlight. Not my cloud cover. I'm going to stamp in Misty Moonlight. Give me a second, let me grab that ink. Let me put some stuff away. Cloud cover. Early espresso, put that away. Need to take a drink. And then Misty Moonlight. So we're going to add a little bit more color to this one. Bringing our house back in. Bring my little cleaning. I didn't want to mix any brown with the Misty Moonlight, so I was just making sure I cleaned it a little bit better. All right. We're going to have our little house. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, that's great. I'm going to stamp our house front and center. I'm going to put it a little bit lower down because I do want the smokestack coming out. All bring my tree back in, the single tree, and I see some secret C in the paper, so I'm going to grab my secret C. We got our tree right off the back of the house. Just gonna go with one tree. Let's do one. And then we're gonna bring this one a little bit further back. And then our smokestack. And then we're going to use our secret C for our smokestack, because the smoke's coming out and it's black, right? Perfect. All right, so I think all of our stamping is done with this card. And again, I'm not doing sentiments tonight. I'm just not sure 100% what sentiments I want to put on them. So I am not putting any sentiments on our cards tonight. So that is by choice. Yeah, we're not going to put a deer on there. And we have created 4 cards tonight, and they're the same in terms of the materials that we used, the stamp sets, but they all have different feels to them. At least to me they do. Again, if there's any questions that you have related to stamping and you want to reach out to me, just go ahead and you'll see at the top of the screen, you'll see the information, how to reach me, my email address, my website, where you can also contact me. That's that. And then I'm going to use a little bit of ribbon. A little bit of ribbon. Let's see. It's going to be that way. I want my ribbon to be a little bit higher up. So let's put some right here. I have got so much stuff on my fingers. They're a mess. They are. And then this is going to go over here. And we're going to wrap our ribbon again. there. Wrap it around. Hopefully it's straight. Hopefully it's straight. It's straight enough for government work, like they say, right? Everything's good enough for government work. Alright, and then we're just going to pop this right here, and we are going to add some dimensionals on this. We're going to make it front and center. Like so. This is the roll of tape dimensionals or foam sheet tape that I'm using. It has a very low profile, so it adds it will add some depth, but it shouldn't be enough that you get flagged for mail. But I always put just a little extra, what is that, extra weight postage, just to make sure that it goes. All right. Let's go ahead and center this. Like that. And then we're going to put this on a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock. Isn't that cute? Look at that. Probably going to add our sentiment right under here. Again, we are working with the Woodland Scenery stamp set. It is in the September to December mini catalog. As I checked this afternoon, it was still available. And then line this up. Oops. Oops. And there we go. All right, that's it. Again, give me a couple of days. You can check back on our website and you can see the sentiment, see the cards with the sentiment that we chose. All right, let's bring them all back in so you can see all 4 cards. And I very rarely make cards in the landscape position. I'm more of a portrait girl. But tonight, landscape won. There you go, guys. These are the cards that we made tonight featuring the Woodland Scenery. I hope you enjoyed this stamp set and that you see the potential that you have. And guys, I've just made 4 Christmas cards, okay? How amazing is that? All right, don't forget the join promotion ends on October 31st, where you can become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, hopefully on my team, with a join promotion special of $35, and you can get $125 worth of products, Or if you're wanting to go for the big bucks, you can join for $99 and get $189 worth of products. Either way, guys, it's worth it to become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you see any of the products here this evening that you would love to use and recreate with, I would love to have you on my team, okay? On that note, you guys, thanks for joining me this evening, and have a wonderful, enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the holiday, and happy stamping.